Do you want to do a clap to feel...
Do a clap.
Please put this in.
Yes. Did you hear, Baron? Please put this in.
Okay, good.
Welcome to Unmuted, another edition of this very special 5FM podcast where we unpack the nuances of GBV. And today we have a special guest, a trauma facilitator, life coach and dating coach, Milé van Vuren. Thank you for joining us, Milé.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Same. And my first question is actually a very light one. I mean, I think labels exist in today's day and age very differently to what they used to. Girlfriend and boyfriend used to suffice. Now we have situationships and sneaky links. Is it important to define the setup between two people when they become romantically involved?
Firstly, I love how you just said it's a light one, and then you go into the most intense question ever.
I thought so.
Well, 100%. I mean, it's so important to clarify where you guys stand with each other. I mean, like, imagine, I see this so often where someone puts in all their energy, puts in literally like the whole being into something or someone, and then that person isn't on the same page. I mean, like, how do you think that is going to make someone feel? Like someone would feel like rejected, ashamed, disappointed, isolated. I mean, so 100%. I mean, it's really, really important. I'm not saying like have an intense conversation early on, but really clarify like where you guys stand with each other, because I just think it's gonna like save heartache and sadness.
Speaking of heartache and sadness, I mean, you've shared some typical gaslighting phrases with us. Things like, it was just a joke, or I never did that. When an abuser uses phrases like that, how does one work through the self-doubt that it can cause?
This is such a heavy question because I grew up with a narcissistic abuser of a dad, and he used to do that so often, and he would say something, and the moment I would be like, what? Like, question it, he'd be like, I didn't say that.
No,
and then you're like, and you almost feel like you're going crazy, you know, and you start to gaslight yourself, you know, you like the self-doubt comes in for you hard, and you start to question, did I hear that, or did I see that, you know? So it's really, really such a tough one, but I guess it's really important to start to validate your own feelings. Like, self-validation is a really big one, and having a support system that can back that up for you, you know, like someone that can be like, you're not going crazy, or you know that you actually heard that right and that's how it happened. A lot of people, and I don't think I'm a big fan of this, but a lot of people, they keep journals. And they like write down what was said, or like record, or whatever the case may be. But I would say in a work, like, self-validation is really important. Then having a support system to back that up for you, and just, I think those two go hand in hand. But it's such a complex question, because it's such a long answer
so
I can
big,
give.
Yeah, it's very nuanced. Exactly that. I mean, when we speak about validation, I think about false validation and the false types of validations that exist. And I think love bombing is one of them. Many people might experience it without knowing, especially in this digital age with the constant calls and texts. They feel nice. They feel, wow, he's thinking about me. But actually, they can be a red flag that's easy to ignore. What is love bombing, and how does it lay the foundation for an abusive relationship?
I have seen love bombing increase in my clients like an insane amount recently. So I think like love bombing is that intense bombarding you with like affection, texts, calls, gifts, like declarations of love, like an excessive amount of it very early on. You know, it's like a too fast, way too soon kind of situation. And I actually can think of one particular client I had, and he came in and he was so happy. He was like, I think I found my partner. Like, he's so cute. He literally is giving me the world. Like, we already moved in together like 1 month after meeting each other, you know, the whole scenario. And what happened is a week, like I think months later, and sometimes it even takes years for people, the person love bombing, to like their mask starts to fall. and they can't overcompensate anymore, and the true colors start to show. And the sad thing is that the person receiving all that constant love and affection, they feel like they've invested so much emotionally, physically, mentally into this relationship that they don't feel comfortable with just stepping out of it. And that's even when the relationship turns unhealthy or toxic or abusive. They're so caught up in this trap. You know? Think of it as like a physical bomb dropping. Besides dying, you do feel like disorientated and confused, and like that ringing. Exactly. Like that just happens with the love. You feel confused. You feel disorientated. You feel like not actually knowing like what's really going on, but because you love this validation and love so much, you just like
eating it up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about love bombing also like physically as a bomb and like the effects of that. That's so interesting. I mean, as a facilitator, as a trauma facilitator, how do you help people who've experienced intimate partner violence? I mean, if I come to you as someone who's experienced a domestically violent situation, what are the steps that you would give me?
So I think this is a tough question for me because I also need to know like where my limits are as a professional and like what I can do for someone. So let's say they're still in that like environment, you know, referring to a psychologist or actually to like a gender-based organization in South Africa, you know, like sending them those on those paths would be an option. But I think for me, as a trauma facilitator, my first priority is ensuring that you're safe and that you have the support. And then I support you to make the best decisions that you can make, whether that's staying in the relationship or leaving a relationship that's abusive. But yeah, it's
very nuanced.
Yeah.
Complicated.
Very complicated.
Yes.
This is not easy, guys.
It's not. No, it's a very tough topic that we are dealing with. Of course, it's not easy. I mean, I've had the honor of having a trauma session myself with you, and it was quite eye-opening in that I did notice the differences between trauma facilitation and talk therapy. I would say it encourages you to look at different aspects of a traumatic experience from different angles. Ask yourself, what did I do? How did I contribute? But also in a way of how does it make me feel that we've gone through this? Like really, really in-depth questions you ask yourself. But what would you say is the difference between being a trauma facilitator, which is what you do, and what a talk therapist does?
I love this question because then I get to talk about what I do, and I love what I do. I feel so passionate because you literally can see a change. Like we were speaking earlier, in one session, you can feel a change, like even if it's a slight change, but there's a change. And I often tell my clients when we start, you're not going to come in here and like talk about the same things every week. There's no progress in that, you know. So like when you do come, it's like and I think this is the difference. I think talk therapy focus on like ongoing support and sort of like coping in the moment, where what I do, it's very much like processing and growing, like restoration. Like I will not leave the session and be like, I'm so glad you figured everything this out. Bye. Have a lovely week. Oof. Like I just I sit there and I'm like, okay, what steps can we take to make a change? You know, like small steps. Like what can we start to implement? Journaling, all those things.
Important.
So yeah, I think it's very important for me to grow, transform. Like we're not
Stagnant.
becoming our challenges. We're moving through them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of moving through challenges, if you could address this one directly to people who've just witnessed violence, and it doesn't have to be domestic violence, but people who've seen the violence, maybe even in childhood, how would you give them tips or tools to not only just process what they've seen, but avoid internalizing it? How do they walk away from those incidents without letting them live with them?
That is such a good question. I think firstly, it's witnessing violence or experiencing violence can leave very deep scars for a person. It's very intense, and it has an impact on you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to say that you're gonna carry the trauma with you for the rest of your life, but the reality is that you saw what you saw, you experienced what you experienced, you know, like that, it did happen.
It happened.
We can't erase it, you know, but do you know what we can do is we can integrate it into your life. It's like it becomes part of your story. It becomes part of you as an individual. It doesn't become you.
Yes.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's a thing that happened. It is not you. Yes.
It doesn't define you.
It doesn't define you.
And you're not limited by it.
100%. But that's much easier said than done. And I think I'm gonna just keep on saying this. Like I'm gonna sound like a record player, but I definitely think the first step is like self-awareness. It's like actually realizing, okay, that did happen to me. So validating my own feelings and not pushing it back, because I see that also happen a lot, where someone comes in, and this is where my feeling wheels comes in handy. It's amazing. And in the middle is like the primary feelings of like angry, sad, happy, wada. And someone would come in and say, I'm angry. And then I'm like, okay, but what does that anger mean, you know? And then they get to actually pinpoint, okay, I'm angry, but I feel rejected. I feel critical. I feel disappointed, you know? And just by doing that, it actually does lift a lot off of you, you know, just by naming it. It's like, I heard this really funny phrase. It's like, name it, claim it. I don't know what that was.
Yes, but basically you take its power away by being able to name it. You like take ownership of that experience, and then you have control.
Exactly.
It's not the emotion that controls you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's again like coming back to it's not your identity. This thing is just a thing that happened to you. Yeah. And I think a lot of people struggle with it. They take it on and it becomes yes.
Very real.
But no. When I look into the camera, know that you are more than that.
Yes, you are more than that. I mean, I'm going to get a little deeper. Unfortunately, you know, GBV in this nation, I would say, exists on a spectrum, so to say. You know, femicide is on the one end, but the beginning of that spectrum is still a lot of women thinking they could work it out or trying to see how they can fix things. Can a relationship that's become violent be reconciled?
This is such a difficult question to answer, and I would love to answer it and give a straight like yes no kind of answer, but
it's impossible.
Like I would love to give a one size fits all answer, but that's not reality. It truly does depend on the situation and the individuals involved, but that's all I can say.
It's a frustrating reality as well. And you want, you know, obviously for victims of GBV to go and get the help that they need. But again, if there's children involved and maybe, you know, they're thinking the violence they can withstand it, you never know what a person, you know, is dealing with mentally when they go through that as well.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
I mean, how would you say a GBV partner can help their lover emotionally, mentally? How can they support them if their partner's already experienced something like that in a previous relationship? How do they do that without re-traumatizing them?
That is an amazing question, and I think something that needs to be put up like a lot of emphasis on it. And I sort of like, we're talking about GBV, but I almost want to take it a little bit wider, as in what can a partner do if the other partner has been traumatized in their lives? Like, how can they support that partner? And I'm going to use an example, a personal example of my beautiful husband. He's like the best person ever. I'll fangirl about him forever. A few years ago, I went through something very traumatic, and I actually cannot even put into words how much he supported me in that moment. And do you know what he did?
What did he do?
He literally just created a safe space for me to process my feelings and things that happened in my own time, so at my own pace. And he was just listening. He was just validating me. He wasn't giving me solutions. He wasn't like, you know, like lots of people try and fix other people. He was just letting me be while knowing that he's there next to me. You know, he just created this beautiful safe bubble for me to like feel what I need to feel, process what I need to process, and knowing like he's rock solid next to me. Do you get what I'm saying?
An actual pillar of strength.
Dude,
Sure.
Yes. So I think if you want to put that in like a list, like I would say listening to your partner, validating them, creating a safe space for them. I mean, not trying to give resolutions, but just being present in the moment and letting them process their trauma in their own way at their own pace.
Because there is a power in just being there as well.
100%.
There is it's a meaningful thing to do for someone. I think in terms of relationships as well, what we tend to learn as time goes is that childhood wounds affect the way we give and receive love as well, you know? So how would you handle a situation where that childhood wound has now caused a destructive pattern, whether it's verbal, behavioral, situational, or otherwise?
This is a goodie as well. I feel like you're just like giving the best questions. I'm gonna use myself as an example again.
Good. So I'm talking to you.
Thank you. When I stepped into this relationship I was this like independent, no man can tell me nothing kind of vibe. Like, you want to help me? You can't help me. I can help myself. Kind of, that's the mindset I stepped into because like we spoke about, my dad was this kind of, he was belittling me. He was, pushing me down. And so I had to take on this persona of being this independent, strong woman. Like, you can't touch me
or anything.
Don't even. And when I stepped into this relationship, a few weeks in, I realized that this is not going to work if I keep on being how I'm being, because I have a tendency of being controlling. I have not like
overpowering.
Yes. Micromanaging, like controlling, micromanaging, like my way is the only way. You want to do something that's so stupid, just do it my way.
Right.
Literally. And he wasn't having it. And so I had to make that decision to be like, am I going to keep going into these destructive patterns, or am I actually going to do the work? And the first thing that I had to do was become aware of my patterns. And that's really difficult, and no one wants to do that. And the first few times, I mean, like for the lots of first few times, I was aware that I was doing these things, and in my head I was like, Milé, this is not okay, like you need to, but I just couldn't change my outward behavior. I kept doing what I was doing. And so I would say the first thing is like become aware of your patterns, and then feeling the feelings that accompany with it, and then being able to talk through them. So I think open communication with your partner is really important. And I had the opportunity to be like, I'm really struggling with this. Like, I don't want to be angry at you, but I cannot get myself not to be angry, And then when you do slip into those old things, what's really important is patience with yourself and self-compassion. It doesn't happen overnight. It's literally not a quick fix. It takes years to unlearn a behavior you've had for so many years. And so, I think essentially it's that becoming aware of your patterns, being able to feel the feels, talk through them with your partner, so open communication, and then coming to yourself and being like, you're trying really hard. I see that. Like, it's
Pick
okay.
up yourself.
Yeah.
Because you are your own self-critic. Like, you're your biggest critic as a person, especially when it comes to like internal progress. So that makes perfect sense. I mean, I always feel like these chats are like too short, but I do have a final request, I guess, in closing. If you could please just share some words of encouragement, not just for like survivors, but people who are trying to, reappreciate themselves again, maybe looking into getting into another relationship after experiencing a violent one. Is it even possible to love again completely after someone's, betrayed your trust in a previous relationship?
Literally 100% possible. Like, I feel like I want to stand up and stop saying
hope.
that. It is possible. Like, I literally cannot emphasize enough that it is possible to work through your trauma and, grow and transform your identity into a healthier one if you feel like you're stuck. And I would also say, like, before you move into another relationship, if you've been traumatized by one, like, make sure that you are able to know like what your limits are and your needs and your boundaries before you step into a new one, and being able to be like, okay, I'm comfortable with this, or whatever the case may be. But 100%, like, it's really, really difficult to go through something traumatic and then sort of almost have to relive it in a way with a new partner if it is GBV. So I don't know, I can literally go on forever and ever. I almost feel like a little bit angry when someone says like, is it possible? Is all hope lost? And I just been like, no,
it is.
You're so loved and you're possible to love again, you know. Give yourself that, like, I did that. I survived a lot and here I am doing the things. So
sure.
It's possible.
Milé, thank you so much. I really do appreciate this conversation. I know it's going to help someone out there. Like I said, GBV is so nuanced, and before it becomes GBV, sometimes it starts as other things. And it helps if we have these conversations and, you know, we share perspectives and get a better understanding. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing. Have a